Welcome to RetroLogic episode 81. I'm Dan Caporello here with John Cummins and Sam Wagers as per usual. As per usual? I don't know if that's how you say that. Guys, why didn't the Dreamcast have two analog sticks?
Because it didn't need two analog sticks, I guess.
Because it was trying to get to the other side.
Because the other side of what? Failing?
Yeah. Try not to fail.
Trying to fail. Oh, poor Dreamcast. We didn't get a Dreamcast Mini. We were expecting that big Sega announcement to be Dreamcast Mini, and instead it was another Genesis Mini, which is pretty cool. It's got some Sega CD
I'd settle for a Saturn Mini.
Oh, I would bite on a Saturn Mini without question. Either one, honestly.
Apparently they're up for it, but they're worried about the cost and like how well it will sell.
Oh, blah blah business whatever. It'll sell fine.
Yeah, and chip shortages and whatnot.
Oh, chip shortages.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more beefy processing power than their normal, A2 powered Sega Genesis stuff that they normally do.
Dreamcast is beefy. Saturn, I bet they could pull off fairly easily these days. I mean, RetroPie is what? $50?
Yeah.
Retail?
I mean, it's, yeah.
Then
they'd also have to make their stuff work a little bit better, their emulator. Like most of the emulators out there for Saturn. Saturn's usually the one that takes a little bit of work to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, but just throw some R&D at it. They'll be fine. It'll sell. Just do it, guys.
I mean, come on. Look at the PlayStation one. That should have been like cake, and then it came out and it was horrible.
It was rotten cake. But RetroLogic isn't just a podcast. It's a whole community of retro gamers. Visit retrologic.games for our Discord link, fair trade merch, blog posts written by our very own Sam Wagers, and dive into our family of podcasts, including Retro Groove, a music history podcast, and On Topic Retro, a podcast dedicated to one video game per episode, hosted by our very own John Cummins. And you just dropped a mini-sode about a little game called Solomon's Club, which, if it wasn't for you, I would have never even heard of or known that it existed. It was a nice little episode, nice 20-minute bite-sized episode. I love those. I think those are so cool when you do those.
Yeah, they're nice. They're, whenever you don't have as much time to put into a good 3-hour-long podcast, that you can listen to a 20-minute podcast.
I love it. Because that's like a commute, right? For most people, that's like, do I have to work? Listen to John talk about Solomon's Club.
Some of these guys in their 3-hour podcast takes me like all week to listen to.
I know, man. Geez, Nintendo, all N need to get it together. 3 hours. I just, whew.
That's a whole lot of N.
We love you guys. We love all in. We love them. This week, or this month, actually, for our RetroRewind game, speaking of On Topic Retro, we are playing Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem on the DS. That is not available anywhere but on a DS, so hopefully you have a DS lying around, because the cartridge is pretty cheap. You could get one shipped for $15, easy peasy.
We also gave one away.
We gave one away. Yeah, that's true. I've got mine sitting here. I haven't fired it up yet because there's been a lot of other stuff going on that I'll talk about in our Icebreaker, which is about to happen right now. So, what did you guys buy? What did you guys play this week? Sam, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, not a huge pickup this week, but I did pick up a copy. I guess it was last week, but still since last podcast. I got a copy of Kirby's Canvas Curse for the DS at a very good price below what it's been charting at recently. I mean,
that's
a lot of that's one. There was definitely like a post Forgotten Land Kirby game value spike, so I don't know if that's going to last anyway. But yeah, I got it for $17.99, and it's actually in like pristine condition too. Like I don't even look for that, but it's always nice. Like the manual is completely unwrinkled. Yeah, complete in box.
Sweet.
You get it for like half price.
Yeah, I mean, price charting has it at like $70.
Oh, so, yeah, all day.
You got it for a quarter of the price.
Yeah, probably one of the better pickups I've had. And that was actually another local store. This was Play It Games, Movies, and More again. I went to one of their other locations because it was Memorial Day. And I was like, I got time. I'll drive to the other side of town, go to the one that's further from me, see if they have anything good there. It's actually smaller than the other place. They probably didn't have as much, but hey, they had Kirby Canvas Curse for $17.99. So
they had what you needed.
They probably priced it, 2 years ago when it was selling for like around $20. So never caught on that it got more expensive. And I also got my copy of Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the DS.
Nice.
So ready to play that. I haven't actually played it before, so that'll be fun. And as far as stuff I played, just circling back to some of the stuff I've been playing, since I kind of wound up playing too many games at once again. But I beat some of them. So I actually did beat Kirby Star Stacker on all difficulties. That's just on the 3DS Virtual Console. So that was fun. The insane difficulty does get pretty insane. What is nice is you do have infinite continues. I mean, I was technically using save states just so I didn't have to like keep my game on for a long time and I could take a break. But if you fail, you start again at the same stage. So, and I feel like some of those at the end too, like I literally had a couple where I started the stage and it was literally impossible because the blocks it gives you are randomized and you have like 3 blocks until the screen is full. And it's like, okay, well, if you're just going to give me star blocks that I can't match with anything, I can't win. But you just got to retry a couple times. But that was fun. I was surprised how much I enjoyed that game, as relatively simple as it is. And I also managed to beat Umihara Kawase. At least I got an ending. The endings, you call them different endings, but really it's just you clear a certain stage and the credits roll. There's not like an actual like cutscene or anything, but because the stages go all over the place, like, and a lot of them have multiple exits. There are multiple end points to the game, but I did get one of them, which is probably the quickest one to get, at least the fewest stages total. So it's labeled as ending 2, but that was pretty good. That game is really satisfying when you actually start to know what you're doing. It takes a while, but the nice thing, I did start up the second game, Umihara Kawase Shun, and it's similar enough that it like all those skills carry over. So I actually found myself doing reasonably well at that game without having practiced all the individual stages. Like the general physics of the fish hook and bungee cord physics of it are pretty much the same, and you can pull off most of the same maneuvers with it. And just the understanding of what you should be able to do, because there are some things where it's like you don't think it's possible at first, but then when you get the hang of like how to sort of like swing while reeling up so that you can like swing upward at the end, that does, and you can like wrap around a platform that you're hanging onto the bottom of, that everything starts to like fall in place after that. So it's a lot of fun. Really, really cool games.
It already sounds better than Bionic Commando on PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation
definitely. Definitely. Has more fish in it, too. Nice. And then I've also just been playing more Mother 3. I cleared Chapter 3 on stream today. So on to Chapter 4. I'll finally get to play as Lucas. And also been playing more Majora's Mask. So I'm at least more than halfway through the game, I would say.
Yeah.
I should be heading to the Great Bay Temple next, because I just got the song. So I just got the New Wave Bossa Nova. Hatched the Zora eggs, learned that, got the Zora mask.
New Wave Bossa Nova.
On to the third giant.
Yeah, the Zora mask is probably my favorite mask, like out of the transformation ones.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got the most style, I think.
Yep. There was something weird with the Zora mask when they went to Majora's Mask 3D, right? They like changed it somehow, and everybody hated it. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never played the 3DS version.
That's the version I mean, I played the original a little bit, but I could never wrap my brain around it. So I tried the 3DS version. which I liked a lot better. I just kept reading about how the Zora mask in the 3DS version is broken.
I will say again, too, that I'm glad I'm just using a guide pretty liberally with this game.
Sure.
Because, like, I don't think I ever would have thought to go back to the ranch in order to get to the Great Bay, because you have to get a Pona to hop the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I just know, because I'd been there before, I never would have thought, oh, you have to get there when it's not day 3 by getting a powder keg so you can blow up the rocks and you don't have to wait for the guy to dig up the avalanche that's blocking the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when you get to do the alien quest.
I love the alien quest. It's so funny.
That whole game just has all kinds of craziness that
it does.
If you don't use the guide, you'll never find it.
Yeah, let alone like trying to get all the masks or all the pieces of heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to try for all the pieces of heart, but I would like to get all the masks.
Yeah, the masks are good. The pieces of heart, I'm not sure that you can even get all of them.
I mean, I've never really... Well, I guess that's not true. I did it in Breath of the Wild. I got all the shrines.
Yeah, I did that one.
That's the only Zelda game I've done that for. Most Zelda games, I'm like, pieces of heart is whatever. Like, I'll get the ones where I happen to know what to do, but I'm not going to hunt them all down. Because sometimes it's just a fun side quest, but...
I got all of them.
Sometimes it's...
in Majora's Mask. But then I got... The only other game I've done it besides Breath of the Wild is Link Between Worlds. I 100% of that game.
There you go.
Yep. Next.
Yeah.
Is that all?
That's it for me.
Oh, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, John.
So I got, thanks to Dan and giving me the itch again to get another Game Boy Advance to put a screen in.
Hey, all I did was do it myself. So
yeah, I know. It's one I've been meaning to do, and then I saw yours and I was like, man, I really need to do that. But I have this weird thing, like I didn't want to mod my childhood Game Boy Advance. I don't know if that's weird or not.
Yeah,
but
no, that makes sense.
So I was like, I'm going to buy one cheap. That basically, I basically just needed a motherboard, but I got this cheaper than that. So it came in. Now I'm just waiting on parts. I also bought the classic NES series versions of Donkey Kong Jr. or Donkey Kong and Dr. Mario for the Game Boy Advance, which are both really good. I got Miracle Warriors and Time Soldiers from dang, who was that? Who did I get that from? My mind just went blank.
Community member?
Yeah,
that's fine. Community member.
Yeah, that's. I'll think of it in a minute. And then I bought Transbot for the Master System, and this is on the Sega card because I wanted to test my slot on my Master System.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. I still haven't done it even after I bought it.
The who card slot?
Yep.
Okay.
And this was the only game that I could find that was reasonable that wasn't tennis or like baseball.
What's wrong with tennis and baseball? Let's play some tennis.
For the Master System, lots of things.
Video game
probably.
tennis is wonderful.
Later. I don't know about video game tennis for the Master System. It's probably not fantastic. So anyway, I found this
know, John.
Yeah. I found this cool robot game. I was like, sweet, I'm going to find that one. And I did at one of the locals. And the person that I bought the other two games was Eric Plunk. He was the one that I bought those from.
Oh, good old Eric.
Yeah, he had them up there for a while, and finally I was like, all right, I think I'm the only other person on here with a Master System. I'll just go ahead and take those.
Used to have one. I stopped the Master System.
I have the adapter. I have the adapter for my analog Mega SG. I own like 3 Master System games.
They're expensive, man.
Well, you could have got Time Soldiers. It has the dinosaur on it.
My local has a bunch of Master
That does sound
System.
tempting.
My local has a bunch of Master System. I'll take some pictures next time I'm there for you guys.
Nice.
You know what? I have Penguin Land, and Penguin Land is actually pretty great.
Penguin Land is a great game.
That's one that my local has, but they have it for like $25, and I'm not willing to pay that for just the cartridge.
But it's just cartridge only. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got it complete for that price.
Yeah.
It's worth
like,
it. That's worth it, but not cartridge only.
Yeah. So those are my Master System games that I grabbed. I also picked up the box and the manuals for Donkey Kong for Game Boy. It's something I said I wanted to do during the episode we did for Donkey Kong. So now I have a complete in-box version of Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. It's pretty awesome.
94, right?
Yes. Yeah, not Donkey Kong Land. The actual Donkey Kong for Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grabbed Vanquish for PS3. This is one that I've been wanting to play for a while, and I've never owned a copy of it.
That's a what's it? Platinum, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Platinum.
I've heard good things. I got
Freaky Flyers for the PS2.
Nice.
This is one that I remember seeing this game for rent all the time when I was a kid, and I never got to rent it. And I was like, you know what? I'm an adult now, and I'm just going to buy this game. It is a little bit
risque.
This wouldn't have, it's a little risque. This wouldn't have flown too well, like handing it to the parents at the rental place. And
pun intended. Unless you hand them the GameCube version where they removed
where they remove all the
yeah, even on the cover art, it's all they removed some stuff.
Not as freaky.
Yeah,
not as freaky.
quite less freaky.
Yes,
that's great.
And then the last thing I grabbed was at that same local. They had the red Game Boy camera, so now I have red and blue.
Nice.
So I guess I'm only missing yellow and green if I wanted to have a Game Boy camera collection.
Was it just the 4?
Well, there was like a special Zelda one that you could only get by sending off for it from Nintendo Power, and it's now like $10,000, so I probably won't ever have that one.
Oh, that's a bummer. Blue, green, red, yellow, and clear purple is Japan only. So you're just missing.
They had that.
You're just missing.
They had one to match the good old
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah, right on.
Was it Atomic Purple? What did they call this thing?
Atomic Purple would have been like, maybe that's Atomic Purple. That's what they called this N64 controller.
The N64 controller. Yeah. It looks pretty similar.
Yeah.
I don't know. They all had different names.
The world may never know.
I traded my this in to get the Game Boy Advance that was clear purple.
Sweet.
And that's it. So what'd you pick up?
So my turn. Just had one Game Boy lot. I've been kind of obsessed with picking up Game Boy games now. It all, huh?
I said it's fun, isn't it?
It is. It's really fun, and I used to avoid Game Boy on the grounds that like pretty much any game I want to play on Game Boy has a better version of the same game for like Super Nintendo or whatever, like the portable versions back then were pretty inferior. With, exceptions would be like stuff that doesn't have a console port, like Pokemon or whatever. But since I did the there's somebody banging at my garage door. No, it's not. Sorry. Since I did the Game Boy Advance mod, actually since before that, I just was like kind of like finding lots of Game Boy games on like Mercari and stuff, and just being like, oh, that has a bunch of games I want to play. Either whether it's like Mario Land or Kirby or Donkey Kong. Pretty much just like I guess it kind of started with Turok, really. Because I was like, I'm going to buy every Turok game. And it was the random Turok Game Boy game that I never heard of. And then I got all those. And then it just kind of spread from there. Like, I'm going to get everything that I want on Game Boy now. And that there are lots of those, like, they're pretty reasonable. Like I got this one lot off Mercari, which had Wario Land 3, Mario Land, NBA 3-on-3, Mario Golf, Wave Race, Donkey Kong Land 3, Mario Tennis, and Power Rangers Time Force. And I think I paid like $75 for the lot, which is like half, you know?
Game Boy is like one of the cheapest systems to buy for. Like,
kind of
like a lot of good games that are.
Unless you want complete in box stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, just getting the cartridge.
There's still a number of rare things too.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, I almost feel like there's some stuff that's like really expensive, and if you want to buy any
like
any
Game
first
Boy,
party
Mega Man games,
if you want to buy any first party Nintendo game too, you're not going to spend less than $20 for the cartridge, which some people might gawk at.
Still pretty cheap for like most things. Like if you look at Super Nintendo,
for sure,
those first party things are going to be well more than that. And 64, forget about it, or GameCube.
Like, I think the most expensive game in that lot was Wario Land 3, which goes for like 30 or so. And actually, that Power Rangers game, I was looking up some info about it. It was actually developed by an offshoot of Natsume. So
nice.
Maybe it's good. I don't know. So yeah, I'm obsessed with Game Boy now since I'm finished modding my Game Boy Advance. Well, I didn't finish modding it. I did what I was going to do. I did not solder anything. But I did put in the IPS screen, did all the button mods, new shell, new buttons, new rubber. And I didn't do any soldering. I only did the screen, which the hardest part there was it comes with like an inner layer sticky part and then the glass part on the outside. And you have to be very careful not to get any dust in between those two layers as you're doing it. Otherwise, there will be dust stuck in there for eternity. And positioning the IPS screen in that spot was kind of hard as well, but we got there and it looks great. And I played a bunch of Donkey Kong Land this week. I tested a bunch of my Game Boy games, played a bunch of Mario Golf, which I think I knew this, but I never actually played it. That game's like an RPG, like a straight up like top down golf RPG. Like
the Game Boy Advance one?
Yeah, no, the Game Boy Color one.
Game Boy Color one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is Game Boy Color one that's like that.
It's crazy.
With like original characters.
Yeah, you like design a character almost. So, yeah, super fun. I actually played a bunch of levels of Donkey Kong Land, and it's very difficult. It's hard to like get used to the jumps in that game because they are very particular. Also,
and like a lot of Game Boy platformers, you don't see a whole lot of the level at once.
Yeah,
so
there's a little bit of that, but Donkey Kong
you can usually see where you're jumping in that one, though,
and
right?
Donkey Kong Country, I haven't had issues with that yet so much, but it's hard. It's just it's hard to get used to the jumping, I think, because it's different than Donkey Kong Country.
There's also some Game Boy slowdown that you have to get used to when playing a lot of these Game Boy games.
What do you mean?
Like it struggles. Oh, the Game Boy struggles a lot with a lot of games. I mean,
it's one of the reasons why.
Go for it, Sam.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why. Just because I mentioned it last time, Solar Striker is really impressive because how it like never slows down.
Yeah.
I don't have an experience with slowdown. I wonder if that's because I'm playing it on a Game Boy Advance. I don't think I've seen any slowdown.
I don't know if they're playing it on the Game Boy Advance. I mean, obviously it's more powerful, but I don't know if I don't know how that works, like how the processing works on when you're playing it, if it's kind of separate. Because a lot of times they would just put like the Game Boy chipset in the, past console chipset in the new console.
Sure, but why wouldn't, if you have the hardware, why wouldn't you just boost it if you can? I don't know. Maybe that's harder to do than I think it is. But bottom line, I love it. I love my modded Game Boy Advance. I take it with me everywhere now with a bunch of games. It's the best. I'm so glad I did it and it worked out. I want to finish doing some mods to it. Like I want to do the brightness selection mod and I want to get a rechargeable battery someday. I'm not in a rush. I'm just happy that it works. I did spend a little bit of time also playing the new Mario Strikers test kick or whatever, the demo. Did anybody else get some games in?
I tried. I have issues connecting for whatever. It's literally just this game. Like, it's not my internet. Like, my Switch connects to the internet fine. I can go to the eShop fine. I can play Monster Hunter just fine. But I get errors every time I try to connect to a game.
I've heard some people.
The last hour, I managed to get in. I managed to get paired with a teammate. And then I'd get booted when it said we couldn't connect to an opponent. So I hope the real game goes a lot smoother for me. Or else I'm going to have to look into what's up with my internet and this game specifically.
I had a similar issue my first time trying to get into the game. And then I had a time constraint, so I couldn't like try the entire hour. But then on the last hour on Sunday, I was able to get an hour in. And I'm horrible at this game. I'm so bad. And maybe it's because everybody else playing like played a bunch of the other times, so they've had practice. But I'm not good at this Mario Strikers game right now. I hope I get better, because I hope otherwise I'm not going to have a good time.
It feels different to me. Like, I didn't play the one on the Wii, so all my experience comes from the original. And the original seemed a lot less technical, I guess.
Yeah.
It definitely felt more like hockey games of the time period, where this game is very technical. This, like, it has a good, like, it's good. It's not necessarily a bad thing that it's more technical. It's just going to take more time put in. I didn't play any matches, but I did play the tutorial all the way through.
I think we're all going to have to put some time in to actually really get good at it, because I found that to be true as well. It was hard to know on the screen like what was going on or even where I was. And playing co-op with somebody makes it hard, because like there's two numbers lit up over your characters. So I always got confused. Yeah, I just found it really difficult.
It might actually be easier when you do the full teams, so you just control one character.
Do 4-player co-op. Yeah. Or one just
the other
by
thing
yourself.
I noticed, it doesn't feel like a good game to play in handheld. Like, I wish I would have put more time into it, like on a big screen, because it felt cramped when I was playing it in handheld mode.
That might have been a problem for me too.
Like, I feel like I needed it to be bigger to understand, like, to catch more of what was going on. It seemed like
that might have been my problem too, because I played exclusively in handheld when I played, and I mean, that's how I'm going to play it mostly. I don't play on a TV very often, so I don't know. Maybe I'll buy it and play it and just not like it, and then sell it and get almost full retail for it. So, thanks, Nintendo.
More than likely, yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I still have high hopes for it. That being said, guys, let's play the Price is Retro. If this is your first time playing The Price is Retro, this is how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everyone else has to guess how much the games are worth in total. Whoever's guess is the closest wins that round, and then the next person does their list. Everyone says their list, and everyone guesses, and at the end of the game, whoever won the most rounds wins the game. But look out for our poltergeist. He guesses $300 on each list, and if he wins the game, I have to give away a sticker featuring our lovable poltergeist, who just lives in the ether of the podcast. Some say that if you listen very closely, you can hear him saying 300 very silently in the background. Maybe not. Anyway, let's jump in, and then John, why don't you go first?
All right, so my list is all games that tie into our topic. They're all some of my favorite games that had cheat codes that I like to use all the time.
Nice.
The first game is the Mortal Kombat trilogy on the Sega Saturn, complete.
Mortal Kombat trilogy is the game?
Yes.
Okay.
The second game is 007 GoldenEye, loose for the N64. The third game is NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Atari Jaguar, loose.
Atari Jaguar?
And then the last game is Metroid, the classic NES series for the Game Boy Advance, loose.
Sam, John, I mean, I'll go first on this one. I've got $235.
Okay.
Sam, what you
I'm
got?
actually going to go higher than Dan this time.
Let's go.
I'm going to say 320.
Oh, man. If the ghost gets this one, I swear.
No. The total price is $429.18.
What in the world?
Is it the Jaguar game?
It's gotta be
no,
Saturn or Jaguar.
Is it
It's a Saturn game.
I knew it.
Saturn?
So the Mortal Kombat trilogy for the Sega Saturn complete is $252.50.
Bro, that was my whole
wow.
guess.
So I must have been pretty close on the others because I thought that was about like 100, a little over 100.
Yeah, and then GoldenEye Loose is $23.83.
That was cheap.
Very expensive. Yeah, it's cheap. NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Atari Jaguar Loose is $127.05.
Blech.
And then Metroid for the GBA, the classic NES series version, is $25.80.
And I messed up all over the place here.
Now, these were games that I like to play, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I played them on these consoles that I chose.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Because all these were...
You just
Except for
chose the
Metroid
systems to make it harder.
I chose some that kind of throw some smoke your guys' way. The only one here, Metroid's the only one that isn't multi-platform. All these other ones were all on lots of platforms.
Yeah, right. All right, I'm going to go next. And Sam is going to guess first when I say the
right.
list. So we've got... these are all Wario games in celebration of Wario Land 3 being added to my collection, but that game's not listed because I told you how much I got for it. So, first game is Wario Land 4 for Game Boy Advance, complete in box. Second game is WarioWare Twisted for the Game Boy Advance, complete in box. Third game is Wario World for the GameCube, complete in box. And our final game is Game and Wario for the Wii U, complete in box. So, yeah.
You're first. Sam.
I'm just going to say 275.
I'm going to say 550.
Oof.
Okay. Actual retail price is $564.08. Which is like a difference of like $14 for John. So way to go, John. Sam, why did you guess like less on this game, this list?
I don't know.
So the list is Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance complete in box is $133.26. WarioWare Twisted for the Game Boy Advance complete in box is $184.75. Wario World for the GameCube complete in box is $81.15. And Game and Wario for the Wii U complete in box is $164.92.
Really? I thought that one was nothing.
That game...
No, it's like one of the most expensive Wii U games.
It's ridiculous.
I never look at Wii U games. So
you can buy it for...
I remember it being like worthless.
It's like $20 on the eShop or something.
Nobody wanted it.
Yeah, just get it on the eShop. Why is the disc? Ugh.
It's one that I need to get still, which I'm sad because I passed up on one for like $80 a couple of years ago, thinking that was way too much. I was like, "There's no way this game's worth $80," and then now it's
not worth. It's not.
In my defense, I was actually more or less right on Wario Land and Wario World.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought WarioWare wasn't that pricey either.
Yeah.
Twisted.
Those are the two that I own. I don't have Twisted either.
Oh, Twisted is so good, man. I've
been looking for it.
I'm so mad it's
my
so
local has
now.
a copy. It's $100 for loose.
Yeah, throw some trades you don't want. I bought a box of junk to my local, and they gave me like $200 in store credit. So it was a lot of junk, but it was all junk, and I was happy to have it taken off my hands. So Sam, your list is last, and either we're all three of us are going to tie, or John's going to win, or the ghost is going to get a point.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
So I've got a food theme going here.
Oh, nice.
So got Cooking Mama 5 Bon Appetit for the Nintendo 3DS, complete in box. Food Network Cook or Be Cooked for the Nintendo Wii, complete in box.
That was on a game. No, it was on a Spot the Fake recently, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Burger Time Deluxe for the Game Boy, loose. And lastly, Munchmobile for the TI-99, complete in box.
Oh my gosh. What is that? TI-99? Okay. John, you have to guess first.
I'm going to say, let's just do it $200 because I have no clue.
I'm going to say $75. I think this is all worthless.
So Dan is a little low, but he does take it.
Boom.
The total is $91.83. So Cooking Mama 5 is actually the most expensive game on the list at $41.82. Food Network Cook or Be Cooked for the Wii, $6.79. Burger Time Deluxe for the Game Boy, $26.23, and Munchmobile for the TI-99, $16.99.
Sam, what is Munchmobile? Is that a Pac-Man
Munchmobile? It is no. Is
that a calculator game?
Arcade type game. Well, the TI-99 is like, it's one of those like preset computers from like early computer days, like the MSX.
Okay.
Sort of like, you know, it wasn't just a game system, it was a computer, but they made games specifically for it because it was like a standard model computer by Texas Instruments. Munchmobile is it's an SNK arcade game where you're like this car that has hands that you use to like grab food as you drive past it and eat it.
Apparently Munchmobile is also a food truck because that's what comes up when I Google it. So moving swiftly on. Oh, wait, I guess so we all tied. We all got a point.
Tied.
Who had the closest win? Was it me with the 75?
No.
What was
no, John was off by like 14?
14.
Oh,
you were off by 1683.
Bro,
I was
okay.
off by 1408.
John takes this one. You guys are coming back. Coming back on the board. This is John's game. Sweet. Okay, we've got some community submitted lists, and Sam also has a games described badly for us. But before we get there, we're going to do a Spot the Fake, which is a Game Genie code Spot the Fake edition from our good friend, the Ambassador. AKA,
is he giving us the actual codes or what they do? Because if it's the actual codes,
I'm going to see this. I'm going to look at what he has.
No chance.
Okay, here's what he says. Special RetroLogic game for cheat code episode. Real or fake Game Genie code. Rules. This is similar to the real mod or fake on my Warriors of WASD podcast. Oh, okay. Let's plug his podcast. Go check out Warriors of WASD. It's like RetroLogic for PC games. Done.
Created specifically because we know nothing about retro.
Exactly. He was like, I wish there was a podcast for retro PC games. We were like, you make it. I don't know what I'm doing. And he did. It's wonderful. It's really good if you listen to it. He says, just guess whether a Game Genie code is real or fake. Okay. Here we go. I haven't revealed these yet, so this is my first time reading them as well. The first one is Echo the Dolphin for Sega Genesis. Octopus is lethal. Octopus being one of the bosses, I believe, with the tentacles.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want to make the octopus more.
I'm gonna say
deadly.
fake.
I'm gonna say fake on that one too.
I was hoping he wasn't going to give us the numbers and be like, "Is this an actual code?"
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, right.
I'll admit I have basically no bearing on this because I've basically never used a Game Genie. So,
yeah, I mean that sounds like something you could do.
No
with
actual
a Game Genie.
experience.
That sounds like something you could do with a Game Genie. But my question is, why would you do that? That seems like a useless. I don't think that's real. Game 2. Wayne's World for the Super Nintendo. The item of worthlessness is not worth anything. The item of worthiness is not worth anything. I've never played this game. Have you played this game?
Again, why would you use a cheat code to make something that was valuable invaluable?
I mean, if a game would do that, Wayne's World might do it just to be fun.
I mean, to my knowledge, there are codes that will make something like, die in one hit in a game where that normally doesn't happen. But it's usually not that specific is the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go false on that one too. All right, so far we've got false. Game 3. Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis. Raptors can fly.
Sure. I believe that one's real.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I want to believe it's real.
We want to believe that raptors can fly, so we're going to stay true on that one.
We'll just try it out after the show.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay, game 4 is Diddy Kong Racing. Hovercraft explodes on impact. Game Genie didn't have an N64 variant, so I think that's a dead giveaway.
I mean, he could be talking about the Game Shark.
He said Game Genie, so I'm going by his rules. Okay,
he might get us because of that, though.
No, that doesn't
seem like something that
he literally says in ink. Fake Game Genie codes. If he said fake Game Genie / Game Shark codes, then I would have said
probably considering the Game Shark to be a Game Genie. So it's still made by Galoob, I think.
I don't know that. I'm just saying. Do you think this is a real Game Genie code?
I don't.
The only Game Genie in Diddy Kong Racing is that elephant who rides the flying carpet. All right.
That's right.
It's really good. That's a good joke. I like that joke. Game 5. Paperboy for Game Boy. After you beat the Monday level, you can play Tuesday. Come on.
That definitely sounds like something somebody would make up on a playground, though.
What? Like, that's not a code. You play Tuesday. And game 6. What?
Now, if you would have said that you'd get to play Tuesday without beating Monday, that might be a code.
Yeah, exactly. Paper Mario for the N64. Background music plays in reverse.
See, I think he's considering the Game Shark a Game Genie.
That's fair. Fine. Let's go true on that one. Just to be different. Okay, ready for some answers?
Do it.
Okay. Game number 1, the code was Gecko the Dolphin for the Sega Genesis. Octopus is lethal. We guessed fake. His answer is, it's real. You can make the giant octopus hurt you even more. Why would you do that? I don't know, but apparently you can. Okay, Wayne's World for the Super Nintendo. The item of worthiness is not worth anything. We guessed fake again, and he says, it's real. Item of worthiness can be worthless. That's something some jokester put in just to be funny. All right. Code number 3 is Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis. Raptors can fly. Game 3, we guessed true. We want it to be true. He says fake. The world would be a nightmare, or Jurassic Park Domain 2. Jurassic Park Dominion 2? I don't know what that is. Game 4, Diddy Kong Racing for the N64. Hovercrafts explode on impact. We guessed false because that's not a Game Genie system. He guessed fake. Everyone has good insurance. That's great. So we were right on that one, probably for the wrong reasons. Game 5, Paperboy for the Game Boy. After you beat the Monday level, you can play Tuesday. We guessed fake because that's obvious. He says real. What? I guess we
What was
could have
his explanation?
He just says it's a joke. He says, "I'm not sure where the cheat is in this code." I don't know, guys. That's weird. Paper Mario 64 background music plays in reverse. He says, "Fake. Only the older NES game could you change the pitch, dissonance, and order of songs with the game Genie." And we guessed real, and I think we only got one. I think we only got one of these right.
And that was the one.
We have nothing to be ashamed of. We're not cheaters.
Yeah, no cheaters here.
No,
I do own all the Game Genies, but I never use them.
I'm a big cheater. I would use them if I had them. I don't understand, honestly, like why we were so bad at that game. Congratulations, Ambassador. You pretty much stumped us on that. Let's do a games described badly. And Sam, you have a list for us. So we're given several descriptions of video games, and we have to guess what game is being described. See if we can.
And this is a special games described badly. These are games described badly by the people who made them, or at least by the people trying to sell them.
These are actual
all of
quotes?
These are quotes either from interviews or ads.
Wow.
And you have to guess what game that is being talked about here.
I like this. This is great.
Some of these might be very difficult, but we'll see. Maybe we'll just do them one at a time. So I'll start you off with what I think might be the easiest one.
Okay. How many do you have?
5.
Okay.
60 levels packed with all new surprises, huge expanding bosses, and a cold-blooded babysitter, who spits fire and launches eggs out his butt.
Yoshi's Island for sure. It's got to be Yoshi's Island.
Yep, so that is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, according to an ad in a magazine.
I feel like the babysitter thing gave it away. Expanding
and
bosses.
The eggs.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Buffalo fireballs and spits eggs out his butt.
The expanding bosses is true. They do. It's just a weird way to say it.
They do, yeah.
All right, next one.
So this one might be a little bit vague, but simply just says, I wanted to create a game world that conveyed the same feeling you get when you were exploring a new city for the first time.
Gosh, like Shenmue maybe, or
SimCity.
All right, is it Shenmue or SimCity, Sam?
Not even close. It's The Legend of Zelda, according to Miyamoto himself.
What?
I know that one's like, it's kind of vague. Like it sort of makes sense, but it's also
It's not a city.
I don't fight things with a sword when I go to a city most of the time.
Sometimes I do.
All right, so this next one is great, actually. He actually precedes this by saying it's not so much a game as this, and he describes it as a confessional booth where the player can make a copy of himself.
What? Sam, what is this?
It's a very good question.
What is he describing when he says this?
A game.
Yeah, but oh my!
It's like a confessional booth where a character can make a copy of himself.
Where the player can make a copy of himself.
The player can make a copy of themselves.
Confessional booth?
Oh, is this something to do with Mies?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say that first app. I forget what it's called. It's dead now.
Tomodachi or whatever.
No.
Tomodachi Life, the game. Or are you talking about the app for the phone?
The app for the phone. But it's not that because it's Mies. It has nothing to do with Mies. Is this referring to like a character creator, Sam? In the game?
Not exactly, no.
And is it?
I don't think you're gonna get it at this rate.
Is it Seaman?
Animal Crossing?
It actually is Seaman.
Yes!
Oh,
This is Ute Saito, the creator's own description of Seaman.
All right. Confessional booth. I remember playing Seaman and being like, he asks some questions, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so we got the first one and we got the third one. Nice.
All right, the next one might be familiar. I don't know. The first role-playing game with BO.
What, like Earthbound or Toe Jam and Earl's not. There's no
With
BO.
BO.
No. A role-playing game with BO. What's another
It would
rude?
be Earthbound, wouldn't it? Because one of the
Your
scratches.
final answer.
I can't think of another rude RPG.
Yeah, that is Earthbound
Well,
from
because
the
the scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
the infamous "This Game Stinks" ad.
Nice.
It's really played up some gross out humor that isn't this hardly even there in the actual game. But
Yeah.
that's how they decided to market.
You got to sell
All
it
right.
somehow to someone.
Last one, and I will throw you a bone to get you thinking the right way on this.
Okay.
The development team received a reply from Sega of Japan, so this is a Sega game.
Mhm.
The development team received a reply from Sega of Japan after they'd received the early version of the game, claiming that this game, quote, embodied everything that was wrong with American culture, end quote.
So this has got to be.
It's a Sega game? Okay. It's a Sega
Well, it's
game.
got to be the.
And Sega of Japan did not like it.
I mean, like, what is some...
Jet Set Radio.
What, because of graffiti?
Yeah.
But that was a Japanese
Jet Set
developer.
Radio.
And skating.
I'm thinking like Mortal Kombat or like something rude.
That's not a Sega game.
Yeah, but he didn't say... Okay, was it
It's a
Sega?
Sega
Was it
game.
Sega developed?
So it is a Sega,
Okay.
yes, Sega
All right.
developed game.
Sega developed game. Toe Jam and Earl, maybe. That's got some weird stuff in it.
I still think it's Jet Set Radio.
Okay, is it Toe Jam and Earl or Jet Set Radio?
We've got Toe Jam and Earl or Jet Set Radio. You are both wrong. The answer is Comics Zone.
What in the world?
I forgot that was Sega exclusive.
That's so weird.
Mhm.
Who developed that?
Sega. It was
No, but
actually most of the team worked on Sonic Spinball prior to that.
Bananas.
Man, I haven't
Comic
played
Zone-
Comic Zone in forever.
Is like a beat 'em up, I guess. Like, that's weird
Yeah.
that they didn't like it.
They did not like it. Everything wrong with American culture.
Well, I guess comic books are everything wrong with American culture.
Still got made anyway.
That was a great list, Sam. Thank you. We actually
That
got
was
a
good,
few
yeah.
of those too.
Some stumpers in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always know if you're going to put
I
a
didn't
list
know
together.
how hard some of those would be.
I always
but-
know that when you put a list together, there's going to be Earthbound and there's going to be Seaman. I always know.
Pretty much.
We've got another Games Described Badly from our good friend, the Ambassador. Let's pull this guy out. He says this topic is 2000s action platformers. The challenge is get every answer right, and I will donate a picture of Dan and Kirby holding hands around a campfire. He does these nice little pixelated art for us. It's great. Get 3 answers wrong, and I will donate a picture of Dan and Garfield on a date.
I kind of want to get them wrong now.
Yeah. He does a lot of the artwork for my show. So
we
he's been doing pretty good.
He does do good work, and I also kind of want that Garfield thing just to appease the community because I know they're going to want that. But we will try our best. We're not going to default. We're going to try our best. So this is Games Described Badly, a 2000s action platformer edition. Game number 1. A femme fatale vampire who clearly works for Hot Topics
Blood Rain.
is a pain in the neck to the Third Reich. Is that Blood Rain?
Blood Rain.
All right.
Yep.
Game 1 is Blood Rain. Okay. Game number 2. You are an escaped mental patient who is like the Jean Grey. Should I say the answers after each guess? Or should I wait till the very end? What would be better for
It was-
listeners?
I guess which one? It builds more suspense to keep them wondering. Until
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah, I guess. But I feel like if I'm listening to a podcast, I would forget. We'll do
When
it this
I'm
way.
giving them, I give it away because I just can't hold it in. too long.
Okay, we'll do it that way for now. We'll do it that way now, and we'll see what people like better. So, a femme fatale vampire who clearly works for Hot Topic is a pain in the neck for the Third Reich. We guessed Blood Rain, and the answer is Blood Rain. Sweet. Game 1, done. We got it. Game 2, you are an escaped mental patient who is like Jean Grey and Professor X. Less like Time Splitters, more like Mind Splitters. He is talking about Second Sight, developed by Free Radical, who developed Time Splitters.
Nice.
Anybody want to?
I don't know these games, so sure.
No.
You sound confident.
Let's see. Second Sight. Second Sight is the answer. Thank you very much. I am a Free Radical historian, so I know these things. Okay, if we get one more right, hold on. There's 6. Okay, so we're not in the clear yet. We're not in the clear yet. Okay, game 3. This Arabian dude who loves parkour has to choose between 2 chairs.
Prince of Persia?
Prince of Persia, 2 thrones.
Oh, yeah. 2 thrones.
Gotta be. And the answer is Prince of Persia, 2 thrones. He's going a little easy on us, honestly. I think. Okay, game 4. If we get this one right, then we will not get a picture of me and Garfield on a date. Thank God. Game 4, a bizarre platformer about slaves drinking soda. This is an odd puzzler
Munch's Odyssey.
Your brain to munch on. Munch's
Oddworld?
Odyssey.
Yeah.
He says munch.
Odd World.
He says munch in the title in this, so I'm going to guess also.
Well, as soon as he said slaves that like to drink soda, I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Answer is Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. Sorry, guys. We are going to miss out on me and Garfield on a date, but we still have a chance to see me and Kirby holding hands around a campfire, which I think it's a wholesome image. Game 5. It's a long one. It's like Ratchet and Clank, but it has a furry, tall dude and a silent human dude. Actually, it is like reverse Chewie and Han Solo, now that I think of it. Long story short, lovable PlayStation scamps that live in dystopian tech worlds.
It'd be Jack and Daxter, but the question is which one?
Jack and Daxter. Is the human?
No,
is there a human? Silent human?
No, that's a robot, isn't it?
No.
No,
Jack is he's like an elf guy. I mean, he's got
that's
ears.
Right.
Daxter is a short, furry guy. He's the talkative one.
Oh, this is
The
true.
first game is Jack and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, but I think more of the dystopia came in Jack 2. I never played Jack 3.
The rest of the games after that were just Jack 2, Jack 3.
Yeah.
There's
Why
also
would he
one
say
for the PSP.
Chewie and Han Solo, though? Jack and Daxter
He said it's a
don't.
reverse Chewie and Han Solo. So Han Solo's talkative and he's smaller than Chewie, who's silent.
Hold on. It says furry, tall dude.
Wait, furry tall dude. Oh.
It has
No,
a
I think
furry.
he got it.
Wait.
I don't think it's Jack
I think
and
you
Daxter.
missed. I think you typed it wrong.
No,
maybe I'm just completely off the roll.
I'm going to read it again.
Read it again from the top.
It's like Ratchet and Clank, but it has a furry, tall dude and a silent human dude.
Okay. Furry tall dude.
Yeah, but
silent
read the rest of it. He
Okay.
says it's like a reverse.
He says,
Chewie
actually, it's like a reverse Chewie and Han Solo, now that I think of it. Long story short, lovable PlayStation scamps that live in a dystopian tech world. Dystopian tech worlds. So it would be a tall dude, a furry tall dude, and a silent human dude. So it's
Daxter
reverse.
is not tall, so
No.
it wouldn't be Jack and Daxter.
And they both talk.
They both
silent
talk.
human and a tall furry dude for PlayStation. What are some action platformers with a tall furry dude and a silent human? Somebody's yelling at us right now from the other side. I can feel it.
I'm bad with PlayStation. Original PlayStation for sure, because
I'm okay with
didn't
it.
have one.
But
original PlayStation, not PlayStation
did
2?
Tomba have a sidekick?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Does Tomba have a sidekick, Sam?
I don't know.
Okay. Man, this one's tough. Tall, furry dude with a sidekick who doesn't talk. Or maybe he's the sidekick. Like Monsters Inc. They both talk. They're not human.
What are some platformers?
Yeah, like
on the PlayStation.
Ape Escape, PlayStation Escape. Ooh. Sly Cooper. There's
no humans in Sly Cooper.
Yeah, right.
No.
This is weird. Yeah, like Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, I was pretty sure about Jack and Daxter, but
I mean, we can guess it because we're not getting anywhere now.
Let's just guess Jack and Daxter.
We're gonna guess Jack and Daxter for lack
he's not tall.
I know that's not it, but
I just heard furry dude and a human dude. And Jack talks a lot less than Daxter. He does still talk.
I don't know what else to guess.
He's usually pretty silent.
I'm just
very
gonna
Ratchet and Clank like, especially as of Jack 2.
PlayStation game. The PS2. What do we got for PS2? Anything? Like Shadow of the Colossus, but like that's not really a.
There's not a big
nobody
furry
talks.
guy in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Scamps. He says the word scamps. Scamp? I don't know. I'm going to reveal the answer now because I have no idea.
It's probably a game I haven't played.
Here we go. The answer is Jack and Daxter.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. I think he mistyped the first part. I think he meant to say a short furry dude and a tall human. Because the reverse Chewie and Han Solo would be a short furry person.
But neither of them are silent.
Tall. Chewie's doesn't
Jack
talk.
very nearly is.
Which pair are you talking about?
Jack and Daxter.
Daxter does almost all the talking.
Yeah, he's like kind of like Rocket Raccoon.
He said silent. Okay. Silent means I ain't talking. All right.
Strong silent.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give it to us because we were on Jack and Daxter, and I think if we had the right clues, we would have gotten there. So I'm going to give it to us. Okay. My game, my rules. Here's our last one. What if astronauts visited your brain instead of space? What would they be called? Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Yep. Psychonauts. We got it. We got all of them right. We got them all right.
We get a picture of Dan and Kirby.
That means I get a new profile pic.
Does that mean we get a picture of the mouthful mode Kirby swallowing Dan by a campfire?
It's a wholesome photo. Stop ruining this, John. It's a wholesome photo.
A picture of Kirby eating Garfield
by a campfire. Chewing on some
Garfield and Kirby.
Chewing on some cooked cat. It's fine. It's a wholesome picture. Okay, we have one more game from the ambassador. He gives us a fact or crap, which is always fun. Okay, here we go. Fact or crap. We're going to do the same thing where we reveal the answer per guess, because I like that better. It's easier on the tongue. Okay, fact number 1. There are no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games on the PS... Wait. No, sorry, that was last week. Here we go.
That was last week's.
The last licensed game to be published on the NES is Disney's Tailspin in '94 in Europe. The last licensed game to be published on the NES. I could see that. 94 is late. I don't know.
Yeah. Tailspin that old? Or that new?
Was Tailspin also on the Super Nintendo?
I don't believe so. Maybe it was.
So
I know that Europe
tough.
did get a lot of games later, but I don't know that they would have got Tailspin, because Tailspin was like early 90s, right? Or late 80s.
It was about the same time as like Chip and Dale. I think that's probably crap for that reason. Yeah, we're gonna say false on that one, I think. Answer is false. It was actually Lion King in Europe, 94.
Yep, that makes more sense.
Wario's Woods got nothing. That's what he says.
Well,
Okay.
Wario Woods was the last first party NES game.
Right. Okay, fact number 2. Originally, Disney's DuckTales was a reskinned Japanese game called Ishitari no Duko before Disney bought it and put it on the NES.
I don't think so, because this was a Capcom game.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
I don't think they would have done that.
Let's go. False. Answer is false. DuckTales did not get the Mario 2 treatment. All right. Fact number 3. The Lion King game on the SNES and Genesis was so hard that the president of Disney smashed the game against the wall and yelled, "What is this trash?" I could see that happening. Michael Eisner.
I could, but like,
He was a bit of an
would
emotional
that even
man.
be reported on?
I feel like that would be like
Unless he did it in public.
a later fact
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. I'm going to say true on this one. I feel like I've heard something about that, so I'm going to go true on this one. You guys okay with that?
Sure.
All right.
I guess.
No, that's false actually. He says, "I wish this happened." I guess smashing a cartridge is kind of hard, so. All right, fact number 4. Kingdom Hearts started off as a turn-based strategy RPG before becoming a live-action slasher. I don't know anything about Kingdom
I
Hearts.
remember hearing anything about it being a strategy RPG. There
No.
was some weird stuff in the early drafts of Kingdom Hearts. Sora was a lion. He had a chainsaw instead of a key.
I might have played it.
Don't
if
think
that was
I ever remember it being a strategy RPG.
true. So we're going false on that one?
I'm going to go
False.
false.
Answer is false. Lots of falses in these guesses. Kingdom Hearts was always meant to be an ADHD slurpee of sugar and chaos. Organization and order need not apply. I don't like Kingdom Hearts. Fact number 5, moving swiftly on. Disney had planned a survival horror game on the PS2 and Xbox in 2008, where the famous princesses explored Maleficent's castle, avoiding jump scares and monsters. I don't
False.
know. Probably not. We're going to say false.
Say false. That
Also
doesn't seem
false.
keeping
Every one of these has been false so far, guys.
Princess brand.
He says, I would play this game until my disc laser melted. Me too. That sounds great. Okay, here's our last one. They've been false up to this point, so we're going to see if we can get a true one out here. Disney threatened Nintendo with legal action if they were going to make their own streaming service around the time Disney Plus was coming out. This is false.
Also false.
Yeah, false.
These are all false. Did you just have fun
surrounded
coming
by
up with fake
lies.
facts one afternoon, Ambassador? You were just sitting there sipping your morning coffee saying, yes, those are some fun facts I could make up that are probably not true. That's what you did. I know you did. Ambassador, we thank you again for your kind contribution to our game show section of the podcast. You're always there, ready and willing. And if you listening want to send us a game, please, all you have to do is DM me. DM me anywhere, on Twitter, on the Discord. You could email me. I don't know. I'm not going to give you my email address, but if you have it, you can email me. Those are the two best places to reach me, though, Twitter and Discord. And just say, I want to submit a list for a game. How do I do that? And I will give you instructions. I'll explain the games to you if you want. Happy to help you help us. John, let's get that trivia card, man.
All right. Maybe you guys might not get one of these. In what year was the augmented reality smartphone game Pokemon Go released?
2016.
Yeah.
And
2016,
correct.
right?
September, if I remember right.
I remember where I was and what I was doing when it released, and we took the rest of the day off. It was the year after my son was born. He was 1.
I had to hesitate because that's like recent enough in memory where I just have to deal with that weird gap year of 2020 where it was like everything blurred together.
I almost said 15, but I vividly remember playing with my son, 1 year old, in a carrier, and we're walking around. Yeah. Next one.
All right. Gilgamesh is a recurring character in which popular video game series?
Final Fantasy.
This is also true. Good job, guys.
Got it.
I was hoping that date one might stump you a little bit, but these are easy.
It almost did. It very nearly did. But sometimes my memory works. Guys, if you want to listen to a really cool podcast, go check out the Ambassadors podcast, which is called Warriors of WASD. It's a retro PC gaming podcast, and he does a great job with it. He's got some games in there. He's got some fun facts. Every episode is about a specific game or topic. Really well done. Go check it out, please. Warriors of WASD, WASD for WASD, which is the up, down, left, right letters on a keyboard. If you didn't know that, you probably knew that if you cared all about that podcast, but I was just letting you know. Go give him a like, some 5-star reviews. And with that, we are going to jump into our show topic, which is cheat codes in games. Welcome back. We are going to hit our topic hard and strong. We've got cheat codes to talk about in games. Cheat codes. Anything that got you to experience the game in like a weird way or a new way, or access like a debug menu, or like choose what level you wanted to go to. Some games had them built in. Some games required like a Game Genie or a Game Shark or an action replay or whatever your fancy was. But they are all cheat codes to us. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it is, where they went. And then we're going to talk about some of our favorites. And the community is going to chime in on this one too. We've got a little bit of community involvement. And then we will say goodnight because our community couch is empty tonight. It's just us. So to kick things off, what do you guys think your first introduction to something like that was? Was it like somebody on the playground? Was it a magazine? Did you find something by accident? Do you remember? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can't remember specifically what it was, but I'm sure it was like Nintendo Power. And that was the main magazine that I had. Yeah. And magazines were a big part of divulging cheat codes to the masses.
Yeah, for sure.
It was definitely, I think that was part of what kept the trend going when it was at its height, was people put their cheat codes in their games because, it probably started as a, development tool, as a debugging tool, just as a, we need to be able to progress through the game quickly while we're testing it. So let's put this little code in here as part of the game so we don't have to change anything from the final product while we're testing it, if it's all good. But definitely it became a selling point for these magazines to be like, we've got the cheat codes, so we'll tell you that. You want the code, you got to buy this issue.
There were magazines dedicated to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were.
Which, thinking back on it, seems tricks. A little, people complain about pay to win now. This was the old school version of that in some ways.
Yeah, but you could share that. That information, you could also just like find the book and open it up and read the code and write it down and then leave the book in the store. Like,
It's also a lot cheaper than $1,000.
And I will say, at least to me, a cheat code is different from an exploit or a bug or just a secret, even.
Yeah.
It is some intentional input that does something to the game.
Right.
Or an unlock, which I think is where things moved, is everything's just an unlockable option now, per se.
But you're right. It started as a secret, as a way for a developer to access parts of the game for debug purposes. And some of the more memorable ones that we have in our list here are exactly that, just a debug menu for the game that lets you choose what level you want or make you invincible or whatever. And who knows how those codes got out, or if people were just smashing controllers against the floor, hitting random buttons and then discovering something. But it is interesting to think about how the process of making games has changed, since back then the only way to get to a part of a game was to play through the entire game. It's like a very linear coding process. Thankfully for our sakes, we had Nintendo Power, and I don't remember doing anything cheat code related on the Super Nintendo or Game Boy. It wasn't until the N64 and specifically Turok that, to me, cheat codes really came into my life. And Turok, so there's a difference between like, this is going to be a secret and we're just for debugging development purposes only, and if it gets out, but we're not going to release this information to the public. And then what Turok did, which is like, here's a whole cheat code menu, and all you have to do is go into the cheat code section, type in the right code, and you unlock invincibility or select your level or all weapons or infinite ammo, you know? It became a feature of a game as opposed to like a tool to develop the game. Because I think through things like tips and tricks and Nintendo Power, the developers realized that people actually enjoy breaking their games. You know, it became a selling point. It became a feature. It became a way to add content to your game without actually adding any content. Like, you can put one line of code that makes you invincible in a game.
I think the thing that might have been lost, since you don't really have cheat codes per se anymore, or only as kind of an intentional throwback, is that in doing these little codes for something like something silly that's not about debugging at all, like a big head mode, you can add something to the game, but there's no real expectation that nobody expects the game to work perfectly when you input that code. Like, you're breaking the game, you're messing with it. Whereas today, if that was like an option, like, people would be kind of mad if it like caused bugs or something like that.
Yeah, and
like, my game crashes when I do this sometimes.
But that's almost like if you go to PC gaming, that's a feature. That's like, you want to be able to add mods to your build of The Witcher 3 or Skyrim or whatever. And a part of what you're trying to do is push your system to the limit to see how many Thomas the Tank Engines you can fit on screen,
Yeah.
That's like another level though. That's at that point, that's like a totally different topic. That's modding. So
I mean, something else that's lost with time is like kind of what you were saying. You would talk to your friends on the playground at school or something, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, I found this cheat code for this," and then you'd have to figure out if it was real or not, because a lot of times your friends would just be, making stuff up.
I remember,
there's no way this is real.
I remember the first time somebody told me about missing no in Pokemon.
Yep.
And it's like that's,
which is technically more a bug than a cheat code.
That's true.
Was a bug, yeah.
That's true. It was not intentional, but it did give you 99 items. 99 of your, I think it was like your 6th item or something. Whatever's in your 6th item slot would get 99. Was that a different bug?
But I also remember everybody insisting that if you could move that truck, that Mew was underneath.
Mew was underneath.
I remember that one too. Just go get the keys and move it. It's so easy. I fell for that one too. Yeah, so definitely became a reason to buy Nintendo Power and gaming magazines and that kind of thing. So, and then part of our conversation is whether the internet killed cheat codes or not. And that kind of plays out in two ways. One of them is since I don't want to say most games, but a vast majority of the popular games now have an online multiplayer component. And you can't really implement those kinds of cheat codes with, you know, if you're it's going to become very unfair very quickly, you know, and you see people using mods and ways to cheat with online games and get banned because they want the players to have an even playing field. So, but that I don't think that
and depending how it's implemented, you could turn that off for multiplayer.
Right. I was going to say that doesn't necessarily prevent people from doing it for their campaigns. Unless doing the campaign somehow awards you experience in multiplayer or gear in multiplayer or whatever. Some games do that, some don't, but it just became a lot more complicated. And then with the evolution of game development becoming non-linear, now we don't need a debug menu to become powerful to get through the game. You can put yourself anywhere in the game at a moment and play the game from any point because it's non-linear coding now. So a lot of the reasons that cheat codes were implemented and became not only unnecessary, but also possibly hindering the experience. So they went away. They took a hiatus. They came back a little bit as like a resurgence, like you said, kind of a throwback, you know. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I know they're out there.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I think about some of the more common types of cheat codes, and in a lot of games that have unlockables, especially like fighting games where you unlock different characters, there'd usually be a cheat code to unlock all of them. In some games, like special broken boss characters might only be accessible that way. Like I know Turtles 5 Tournament Fighters, that's the case. If you've ever actually played as Karai or Rat King, you realize very quickly they're super overpowered, intentionally so. Or if you ever play as Ivan Ooze, the most overpowered boss character in any fighting game in Power Rangers Fighting Edition, and his ability to spam unblockable homing projectiles while flying.
Great. So good.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I remember when Smash Bros. Ultimate came out, there was like a desire for something like this because there were a lot of people trying to organize tournaments on launch weekend, and they're like, yeah, but how are we going to get a bunch of systems with the game that have all the characters unlocked? It was like a huge problem. Like you had to just hope a bunch of people were going to show up and bring their Switch and already have every character unlocked.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's kind of funny to think about. Like a cheat code would solve that problem, actually, because it is basically it's a development tool that's actually accessible by anyone as long as they know.
And I can see why they didn't do that, like for Smash Brothers, because that's I can see why they didn't do it.
They ended up making it really easy to unlock all the characters. So
right, it's like they made it easier to get the characters, and most of the characters that are just DLC anyway. Something else I wanted to bring up was it's gone now. It's lost. So we have a list. Oh yeah, okay. So we have a list of some games that I got from, a shout out to denofgeek.com, who had a great list of like some of the best cheat codes throughout gaming history. We're going to go through some of them here. The first one is the Justin Bailey cheat code from Metroid, which is, so famous at this point. It essentially just makes Samus, you play the game in Samus's bodysuit, and you have a collection of gear and weapons and items. But the funny thing about this one is that apparently it's a total coincidence that those letters make that code work, because the developers were just, that's not intentional. And so the story goes that like apparently one point somebody just tried their own name as a cheat code in the menu and it worked as a save state, and and this came up and it's like not supposed to work, but it did. So that's how the story goes there.
Yeah, there was always a kind of a cute variation on cheat codes. I always found the pass phrases, I mean, it just makes the code itself more memorable than like the input this string of buttons at the start menu kind of cheat code. Back when it became a little bit more, there were a bunch of them where it was like naming your save file a certain name would, like if you named yourself Zelda in Legend of the Zelda, you would skip right to the second quest.
Exactly, yeah. If you did Wampa Stompa in Shadows of the Empire and did a sequence of events, you could play as a Wampa.
Now, what's interesting too, one I just came across back when I played Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I'd forgotten about this. When you beat the game, it actually unlocks the ability to use a cheat code. It doesn't work until you actually clear the game on normal mode.
Oh, well, that's smart, actually.
But you unlock Magician mode, but in order to do it, you have to name your save file Fireball, and then you'll start the game again, and basically you have like increased magic and reduced other stats, and you'll also start with all the DSS cards. And there's actually a whole string of them. So once you beat the game in Magician mode, you unlock Fighter mode, which you unlock actually by naming your save file Gradius. Since it's a Konami game.
Nice, yeah.
Which is like the inverse of Magician mode. And then I think after that there's Shooter mode, which gives you like crazy amount of hearts for sub weapons, but all your regular attacks do like no damage.
That's awesome.
So that's always kind of fun.
Yeah, that's great implementation right there. One of my favorites to pull off is the Sonic the Hedgehog debug menu, which, you can like choose what level you want to go to, and there's certain other menu items. So one of the best things is that you can spawn items and characters. So you can spawn just like endless like ring boxes. You can spawn endless enemies. And one of the things that's pretty impressive is that like the Genesis could handle a lot of those things on screen all at once. So like there's not a lot of slowdown when you do stuff like that. But to pull that one off, yeah, exactly. To pull that one off on the title screen, press up C, down C, left C, right C, A, and start at the same time. And then keep holding A until Sonic appears on screen, and then you'll get a debug menu. We mentioned unlocking characters, but Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo has a play as Akuma cheat. We've got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which has a ton of cheat codes. But one of my favorites was the Moon Physics cheat code, where you could just hit a ramp and just go and just do tons of tricks in the air and get like thousands and thousands and thousands of points because you're just in the air for so long. And you can tilt your camera down and see like the whole map. And then there's double Moon Physics, which is even crazier. I love that one.
Yeah, just going back to the fighting games thing too.
Yeah.
What I do find interesting is that a lot of those earlier fighting games, they had boss characters who were explicitly overpowered. Newer fighting games these days will have the same, but there will be a different version of that character functionally that is actually playable. Whereas,
balanced.
Before, the ability to play as that character was just a cheat code because they weren't going to actually make a balanced version of that character. They never intended to. So they're like, well, if people really want to play as Akuma, we can make a cheat code for it, but we're not going to let anybody just play as Akuma or play as M. Bison.
Yeah, that's
it's just kind of a shift in the history of fighting games that I find kind of interesting.
Yep.
So let's see what else.
Of course, Konami code.
Oh, of course, we gotta talk about Konami code.
Probably the most famous.
Yeah. Which did that? So was that code an intentional code, or was it just for debug and testing purposes? Like, I want to be able to get through gradients.
Oh, I believe it was intentional. By some point, it definitely was. I mean, they basically advertised it. That's why everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's in so many games.
And I still blame the Konami code for why people don't realize that Super C is actually better than the original NES Contra. Because everybody just thinks Super C is too hard because the Konami code only gives you 10 lives in it.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't give you a
99.
Only 10 lives. Sorry. There's also the blood code in the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat. Abacab.
Yeah, so in that case, it was almost a means of getting things past the censors.
That's true. Yeah, that's interesting.
As long as the ESRB didn't know the code, we were safe, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then you could release it to magazines later. What great marketing.
Yeah, a couple of those I added in. Like I said, I remember the passphrases a lot better and probably used them more. And that's a lot easier to do in PC games because you have a keyboard. So Age of Empires is one that I always found just hilarious messing around with. Because there were a bunch of individual cheat units. They broke the game and they looked ridiculous. So you had things like Furious the Monkey Boy. You had a Shelby Cobra, the car that... you typed in, how do you turn this on? And that would spawn that. And it had a machine gun that it was equipped with. This is an Age of Empires too. So, you're fighting crossbowmen with your Shelby Cobra that has a machine gun mounted on it.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
And that carried over to Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, which I actually played even more than Age of Empires. So I still have a fond memories of Simon the Killer Ewok, as well as the Death Star that you could create, because that was just... When I was just getting, instead of just quitting a game, I would just spawn a Death Star and blow up the AI to end it.
Mm-hmm. What else you got?
The Sims was another one, and I think that is a game where that's almost just a different play style of, like, if you want to just ignore all of the, like, career building mechanics and you just want to pre-build your dream house.
Yeah, it was like the original creative mode for Minecraft.
Oh, that's cool.
But I mean, you actually had to sort of give yourself money, right?
But there was a cheat code for that too.
And the cheat code for it, I put this in the notes, that the cheat code for it was Rosebud, and that's probably the first time I became aware of Citizen Kane. Probably the first Citizen Kane reference I ever made.
That's so smart.
Made to me. It gave you some set amount of money. It was pretty large, but you could use it as many times as you bothered to type it in.
I think it gave you like 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot, but you could spend all that.
Oh, pretty easily. The mansions you would build in that game.
I actually learned about cheat codes in Plock that I wish I knew about back when we were obsessed with it. You can
we are now.
I would say, yeah. I mean, we're never gonna forget Plock. Plock will always be a part of us.
Plock will never forget us.
That's right.
So putting in some codes. Where do you do this? Each letter corresponds to. So every time you use one of these cheat codes, Plock loses a little bit of health. So none of them are like crazy. You can warp to test drive, which is basically a test level.
Oh, with all the vehicles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is 16 Buddy Hornets. You can get 16 Buddy Hornets. You can get 160 shells. And then there's 13 seconds of invulnerability. So just be careful with those. because apparently you lose a little bit of health every time you use one. Don't abuse the Plock
only
codes.
Plock.
Yeah, right? Like every other game, it's like, sure,
Comes at
whatever.
cost.
But Plot's like, I need to be impossible.
I mean, in some ways, you could argue that stealing somebody's password is also a form of cheat code, but I still say that's something somehow a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you just use your friend's password to get to the last stage with all the items, you could do that.
So we've got some community members who chimed in with some of their favorite cheat codes. And we're going to go around the horn and read these off. I'll start. Warriors of Wazd, aka the Ambassador, starts with the Game Genie was known for some game altering codes that did ridiculous things to the game. There was a code for Street Fighter 2 where you could replace the Capcom logo with Balrog. And in Mortal Kombat 3, you could unlock a Space Invaders game where Khan would say, "You suck," if you lost.
Yep. I remember that.
All right. Who wants to read Spider Shan?
I'll read it.
Go ahead, John.
Spider Shan says, growing up on Nintendo, the first code I ever learned was the classic Konami code. It was the only way I could get through Contra and Life Force. And then he lists the code, which is up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, A, B.
Select
and then
start?
they're supposed to be select start. Yeah, you missed a part of it.
I mean,
it does vary a little bit over different games.
That is true.
Sometimes it's BA, BA. I think sometimes it's left, right, but sometimes it's left, right.
Yeah,
Usually
maybe
the general
that is
shape of it is pretty constant.
Yeah. And then Sam, you want to read Tim's comment?
Sure. Neoprime33, Tim says, I don't remember which magazine I got it from, NP or EGM, but this was one I used all the time so I could build the city of my dreams in SimCity for the SNES.
So it's the easy money code.
Easy money, yeah.
You have to start with $0. He lists the whole thing out. You can just look it up. It's pretty in depth,
pretty elaborate.
Yeah, but I mean, getting unlimited money in SimCity is pretty game breaking. So, my brother Adam says I always liked the DK mode in GoldenEye. Which, man, GoldenEye had some amazing cheat codes. They had DK mode and paintball mode, and
dual weapons for all weapons.
Yes, all dual weapons. That was such a good one.
Dualies.
Man.
Paintball mode. It just had all kinds of...
So good. One of the codes you had to, in order to unlock it, you had to beat a level in a ridiculous time. I think it was Facility. You had to beat Facility in under 2 minutes or something, which is possible, but very, very everything has to go right. So that it was cool that they kind of hid their cheat codes behind achievements. It was almost like the first achievement system. GoldenEye. Eric Plunk says unlocking various celebrities and developers in NBA Jam was awesome. The Beastie Boys versus Bill Clinton. Anyone?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know you could do that.
They had all kinds. The later games had Santa Claus in them, and all. You could just unlock a lot of the mascots. There was all kinds of crazy things with NBA Jam.
And Sam, you want to read Flightsy's comment?
Yeah, so Flightsy says there's a part of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story called the Lunbar Nook, where you are basically forced to take a break as Toadbert and Toadstool drink tea and listen to soft music. But if you talk to Toadbert before you go to Lunbar Nook, when it is made available, he tells you he had a dream about him having tea and time passing really slowly. He then says that he heard the sound of ABXYLRYXBA being pressed to make time go at normal speed. Doing this in the Lumbar Nook speeds the wait time to a couple seconds. You don't have to talk to Toadbert to do this. The cheat works no matter how you learn of it. I found it in an old cheat book I got from my elementary school's book cart.
I love the breaking the third wall gaming.
Yeah, and the game just tells you.
Yeah. I love that. That reminds me, of the Star Tropics, where it's like the answer is in the manual. You know, it's like
Yeah.
There were actually a lot of
manuals
would pull that as an anti-piracy measure.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you pirated the game, you didn't have the manual and you couldn't proceed.
Yeah,
exactly.
John, you want to read Presto?
Sure.
And you can do Hambone too, since they're short.
It says, I love the cheat codes that just let you do ridiculous things. Lego Star Wars, the complete saga comes to mind.
Oh, I don't know those.
So yeah, Lego games have a lot of crazy cheat codes too for things. So I could definitely see that one getting crazy.
Awesome.
And then Hambone Johnny says, my parents bought me an NES Game Genie in an attempt to delay getting me a Super Nintendo. Man, I love that thing.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Game Genie. We used Game Genie quite a bit for our Sega Genesis. And it was really fun. There was some good stuff on that. But you had to have the book that told you the codes to put in. So,
yep.
Now these days you can just look them up. All right. Desolate Saturation says the Scott Pilgrim video game had a cheat that could indirectly get you infinite money. To do the cheat, the player will need to be, and then he tells you how to do the cheat. Yeah, that's interesting. That's kind of more of an exploit though than like a cheat per se.
Well, I mean, it is because you had to do this whole sequence of numbers or this whole sequence of button presses.
That's true. So I guess,
but in the end, it causes it just causes the player to die, but it drops money. So if you have two players, you can have somebody do it over and over and have the other person pick up the money.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Well, that is our last community submission, and that also wraps up our convo about cheat codes. Anything else you guys want to throw in here before we wrap up the show?
Bring back Big Head mode.
Bring back DK mode.
Every game should have Big Head mode.
Yeah.
Or DK mode.
Both. It needs to be standard. I don't care how you get to it. Just make it in there. Make sure you guys are playing Mario versus Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem for the month of June. Yep. There's going to be an announcement about the next On Topic Retro Rewind episode. Make sure you're listening to Warriors of WASD, WASD, the retro PC gaming podcast, which is very cool. And that's our show, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being awesome, for being positive, for fostering positivity in the retro gaming community. And good deal. I guess that's it.
I know.
We're only at like a minute 50, so we could just sit here in 10 minutes of silence and then just be like, we did a 2-hour podcast again. We're like all in.
Hour 50. You're like a minute. We're only at a minute 50. I was confused.
Minute 50.
Yeah, it was a really quick one.
Use the Mario and Luigi cheat code. Time past time.
Yep.
I did that. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check me out on Twitter and Instagram at RetroLogic Games. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in my Twitter bio. You can find all the RetroLogic things at the website retrologic.games. So go check it out. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye now.
Goodbye.
It's a parfait. It's actually kind of a poor parfait because there's no layers. It's just yogurt and fruit and granola.
A parfait?
A parfait. That sounds like something that would be like an Amazon review. This parfait, more like a parfait. Try to not eat into the microphone.
Did you see that I put your little song at the end of Earthworm Jim episode?
You did? I missed it. What song?
Yeah. Oh, it was whenever we were doing your sound check.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it.
It wasn't even
stop it
really
short?
like you making noises and stuff.
I'll have to go back and listen. I listened to the episode. Maybe I stopped it short.
Yeah,
Didn't listen all the way.
I did.
To the end,
I didn't listen to the end of the credits.
Did you remember? Did you hear it, Sam?
I should know better. Well, now everybody knows, because this will probably go at the end of the show. Now everybody knows, for a little Easter egg, go listen to the very end of the Earthworm Jim episode of On Topic Retro for Dan singing a song.
Dan did he?
Beatboxing or something. I don't know what I did, but I'll have to go listen later.